What if I told you the dirtiest, ugliest penny in your pocket could secretly be worth more than a luxury car or even a house? Most people throw these old, dark, worn-out pennies into jars without a second thought. But hidden among them are some of the rarest and most valuable coins ever made. Pennies that survived wars, minting mistakes, secret metal changes, and mysterious errors that collectors would pay thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars to own today. Stop. Before you scroll, before you dismiss this as just another old penny, what if I told you a 1960 penny sitting forgotten in a jar could be big money? Not $10, not $100, but thousands, even life-changing value? Some collectors have already cashed in, and the shocking part is most people still have no idea what they're holding. Picture this. It's 1960. America is changing fast. The Cold War is tense, new technology is emerging, and the U.S. Mint is pushing out millions of pennies every single day. But something went wrong, quietly, mysteriously, at the Denver Mint. No announcement, no warning, just tiny mistakes slipping into circulation. Those mistakes are the reason a plain-looking, brown, worn penny today can be hidden treasure. Now let me ask you something very important. Have you ever actually looked closely at a 1960 penny? Not just the date, but the letters, the color, the rim, the weight? Because collectors who did ended up shocked. Here's where the mystery deepens. In 1960, the Mint made pennies in two different styles of dates. One has a large date, the other a small date. To the untrained eye, they look nearly identical. But to collectors, one version is common pocket change. The other can mean big money. And it gets crazier. Some 1960 pennies were struck with wrong dies, others with misaligned strikes, and a very small number showed dramatic mint errors that should never have left the mint. Yet they did. And today, auction records prove just how valuable these mistakes have become. Let's reset your attention right here, because this next part shocks even experienced collectors that a high-grade 1960 penny with the small date and strong original red color has sold for hundreds to over $1,000. That's not hype. That's real money paid by real collectors. Why? Because finding this coin in pristine condition is incredibly difficult. Most were spent, scratched, and worn down. Survivors are rare. Now here's where the life-changing value possibility sneaks in. There are confirmed 1960 penny era varieties that explode in price. Double die obverse coins, where the date or lettering looks doubled, can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on clarity. Look closely at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see doubling that isn't machine doubling but true die doubling, you could be staring at big money. But wait, because the color of the coin matters just as much as the date, and a 1960 penny was struck in 95% copper. Over time, most turn brown. That's normal. But coins that remain full red or red-brown are exponentially more valuable. Two coins, same date, same mint, but one brown might be worth a few cents, while the red one sells for hundreds. That's how brutal and exciting this hobby is. Now let me hit you with a real-world shock. Collectors have paid over $1,000 for top-grade 1960 pennies at auction. Why? Because perfection is rare. Clean strike, sharp rims, no wear, bright color, and the right variety. These aren't fantasies, they're documented sales. Reset your focus again, because here comes something most people never check. The rim. Yes, the rim. Some 1960 pennies show off center strikes, broad strikes, or clipped planchets. These errors happen when the coin blank wasn't seated properly. A dramatic off-center strike, where part of the design is missing but the date is visible, can bring $100 to $500, sometimes more if the error is extreme and eye-catching. And then there's the weight test. This one separates casual viewers from serious treasure hunters that a normal 1960 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is significantly off, lighter, or heavier, you might be dealing with a wrong planchet error. Those are rare. And when confirmed, collectors go crazy. Prices can jump into the thousands. Now let me tell you a story that still gives collectors chills. That a man cleaning out his late father's toolbox found a small envelope labeled Old Pennies. Inside was a bright red 1960 penny. He almost spent it. Instead, he got it checked. It turned out to be a high-grade small date example. That single coin sold for enough money to pay months of bills. That's hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. And here's the scary part. Millions of people have already thrown these pennies away, or spent them, or left them to corrode. Every year, the number of valuable survivors drops. That's why prices keep climbing. That's why collectors are hunting harder than ever. So how do you identify a valuable 1960 penny right now? First, check the date style. Compare the 0 and 9. Small date pennies have thinner numbers and a more delicate look. Second, look for the D mint mark below the date. No D, no Denver, different value. Third, inspect the lettering with a magnifier. Any true doubling? That's a major red flag, in a good way. Fourth, check the color. Red or red-brown is big money territory. Fifth, look at the rim. Is it uneven? Cut? Wider than normal? That's an error signal. Sixth, if possible, weigh it. That tiny difference could mean life-changing value. And one more reset, because this matters. Even damaged-looking coins can be valuable if the error is right. Don't assume dirty means worthless. Some of the most valuable pennies ever found looked ugly at first glance. Stop. Do not blink. Do not scroll, because what I'm about to tell you could turn a single penny into big money. I'm talking about a coin so mysterious, so controversial, that experts once argued it shouldn't even exist. Yet today, if you're lucky enough to own one, it could mean life-changing value. This is the legendary 1964 SMS penny, and it may be the most shocking hidden treasure in modern U.S. coin history. Here's the mystery. Officially, the U.S. Mint says special mint sets did not exist in 1964. No announcement, no release, no paperwork. And yet, somehow, these pennies appeared. Quietly, perfectly struck, different from proofs, different from circulation coins. Almost like ghosts from the mint itself. Where did they come from? Who authorized them? And why were so few made? That unanswered question is exactly why collectors are obsessed, and why prices have exploded. Now let me reset your attention, because this next part is where jaws drop. Only a tiny number of genuine 1964 SMS pennies are known to exist. Most estimates say fewer than 50 examples, and possibly far fewer. Compare that to billions of normal 1964 pennies struck. This isn't just rare. This is elite-level rare. The kind of rare that creates bidding wars between millionaire collectors. So what's the value? Brace yourself. Confirmed 1964 SMS pennies have sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars, and the finest examples have reached six figures. One example shocked the hobby when it sold for over $100,000. For a penny. Let that sink in. That's not hype. That's documented, real money. And the wildest part? Some experts believe undiscovered examples may still be out there, misidentified, ignored, or sitting in old collections as just another 1964. That's why this could be hidden treasure. Now listen closely, because identification is everything. A real 1964 SMS penny is not a proof and not a regular circulation strike. The surface is the key. These coins have an unusual satiny, matte-like finish, not mirror shiny like proofs, and not dull like circulation pennies. The strike is razor sharp. Lincoln's hair detail is crisp. The lettering looks bold and squared. Weak strikes? Walk away. Next, check the rims. This is huge. SMS pennies have sharp, squared rims, almost knife-like, unlike the rounded rims of circulation coins. This one detail alone has exposed countless fakes and hopeful guesses. Now the color. Original examples often show rich red or red-brown copper color, sometimes with stunning eye appeal. A full red 1964 SMS penny is in big money territory instantly. Brown examples still bring massive prices. But red ones? That's where auction records explode. Here's another reset, because this is where most people get fooled. Mint mark. There is no mint mark. That's correct. No D. No S. That alone causes confusion, because 1964 pennies without mint marks are extremely common. This is why SMS pennies slip through the cracks. People assume no mint mark means normal Philadelphia strike. But SMS pennies weren't meant for circulation at all. Now let's talk errors, because yes, even these legendary coins can have varieties. Some known examples show die polish lines, extra sharp devices, and subtle die characteristics that specialists use to authenticate them. These aren't dramatic errors like off-center strikes, but make no mistake, authentication is critical. A genuine example certified by a major grading service is where life-changing value becomes real. And here's a shocking fact most people don't know. Every known 1964 SMS penny surfaced from old collections, often from individuals who had connections to the mint or obtained coins in unusual ways. No one ever pulled one from pocket change. That tells you everything about how special these coins are. Now imagine this: a relative leaves behind a box of coins. Inside is a strange-looking 1964 penny. Too sharp, too smooth, too perfect. You almost ignore it. But instead, you get it checked. And suddenly, you're holding a coin collectors would fight over. That's not fantasy. That has already happened. Auction houses have described these coins as enigmatic, unofficial, and one of the greatest modern U.S. numismatic mysteries. That mystery fuels demand. And demand fuels big money. Now let me warn you, because this matters, there are fakes. Altered coins. Polished pennies trying to look special. That's why surface texture, strike quality, rim shape, and professional grading are everything. Never sell or celebrate until it's authenticated. But here's the cliffhanger that should keep you awake tonight. Experts believe there may be more 1964 SMS pennies still undiscovered. Sitting quietly. Misunderstood. Waiting, one coin. One moment of curiosity. One decision to look closer. That's all that separates pocket change from life-changing. Stop. Don't blink. Don't scroll. Because what if the next penny you touch is big money? I'm talking about a coin almost everyone ignores, a coin millions of people have spent without a second thought, the 1967 copper Lincoln penny. And hidden inside this ordinary-looking coin is a mystery that has already paid out life-changing value to collectors who knew what to look for. Here's the strange backstory, and this is where it gets eerie. 1967 was not a normal year at the U.S. Mint. Coin shortages were causing public panic. People were hoarding change. Vending machines were empty. So the government made a shocking decision. They removed mint marks completely. No D, no S, nothing. Every coin was supposed to look the same. Simple, ordinary, untraceable. But behind closed doors, something unusual was happening. Special coins were quietly being made. Not proofs, not circulation strikes. Something in between. And those coins were never meant for the public. Yet some escaped. That's why the 1967 copper penny is now considered hidden treasure. Now reset your attention, because this next part changes everything. Every 1967 penny is copper. That alone makes it heavier and more valuable than modern zinc pennies. But most are still common. The real money is in the details, and the details are where collectors get shocked. Let's talk value. A normal circulated 1967 penny? A few cents. But a high-grade example with blazing red color can sell for $50 to $150. That alone surprises people. But that's just the beginning, because the rare varieties, the ones nobody talks about, can sell for hundreds, thousands, and in extreme cases, 5 figures. Now let me grab your focus again, because this is where the mystery deepens. In 1967, the mint quietly produced special mint set coins, often called SMS coins. These pennies have a unique satin-like finish. Not mirror shiny like proofs. Not dull like pocket change. Smooth. Sharp. Almost glowing. A genuine 1967 SMS penny in top condition has sold for $3,000 to over $6,000 at auction. One exceptional example stunned collectors when it crossed into 5-figure territory. For a penny most people would never notice. That's big money hiding in plain sight. So how do you identify one? Listen carefully. This matters. First, check the date. 1967. Next, look for what's missing. There is no mint mark. That's correct, and that's normal for 1967. Don't let that confuse you. Now study the surface. An SMS penny has a smooth, satin finish, not mirrored and not grainy. Lincoln's hair details are razor sharp. The lettering looks bold and squared. Weak details usually mean circulation strike. Walk away. Now the rim. This is huge. SMS pennies often have sharp, squared rims, almost knife-like compared to the rounded rims of normal pennies. That rim alone has separated real hidden treasure from common sense. Now let's reset again, because error coins changed the game completely. Some 1967 pennies were struck with double die obverse errors. Look closely at Liberty and In God We Trust. True doubling, not machine doubling, can push values into the $500 to $2,000 range, depending on strength and condition. Others show off center strikes, broad strikes, and clipped planchets. Dramatic off-center examples with full dates have sold for $200 to $1,000. These are not myths. These are real auction prices. And here's a shocking fact: most collectors miss. 1967 pennies were never officially offered as proofs. None. Zero. So when you see an unusually sharp, perfect-looking 1967 penny, your instincts should scream, check this closer. That's how life-changing value is found. Now let me tell you a story collectors still whisper about. A man inherited a small envelope of old cents. Inside was a smooth, unusually sharp 1967 penny. He almost ignored it. Almost. Instead, he sent it for grading. It came back as an SMS example. That single coin paid for a family vacation, and then some. That's not luck. That's awareness. Now here's the warning. Because this part is critical, there are polished coins, clean coins, altered coins. Shiny does not mean valuable. Surface texture, strike quality, and professional authentication are everything. When big money is involved, guessing can cost you thousands. But here's the cliffhanger. And this is why you should be paying attention right now. Experts believe more rare 1967 pennies are still out there. Misidentified, overlooked, sitting in jars, drawers, and old collections. Every year, fewer survive in top condition. Every year, demand grows. 1 penny. 1 careful look. 1 moment of curiosity. If that's all it takes to uncover hidden treasure, yes, oh, here's what you do next. Pull out your 1967 pennies. Look at the surface. Check the rims. Study the details. If one feels different, special, don't ignore it. And if you don't want to miss the next coin that could bring big money or even life-changing value, subscribe now. Because the next penny we reveal is so rare, some collectors refuse to believe it exists. Stop. Right now. Before you scroll past this, what if I told you a single penny? Yes, one lonely penny. Could be worth big money. Not $50, not $500, but tens of thousands. Even life-changing value? And the terrifying part is this coin looks so normal that millions of people have already spent it. I'm talking about the 1982 D copper Lincoln penny. A mistake that should never have happened, but did. Here's the mystery. 1982 was chaos at the US Mint. Copper prices were exploding. Pennies suddenly cost more to make than they were worth. So the mint rushed through a historic change, switching pennies from solid copper to zinc coated with copper. Machines were adjusted. Metals were swapped. And in the middle of that rush, something went very, very wrong. Because at the Denver Mint, a few pennies were struck on pure copper planchets when they were not supposed to be. Those pennies escaped, and today, they are hidden treasure. Now reset your attention, because this is where your heart should start racing. An authentic 1982 D copper penny is one of the most controversial and hunted coins in modern U.S. numismatics. Why? Because officially, the mint says no copper penny should exist with a D mint mark in 1982. Philadelphia? Yes. Denver? No. Yet collectors have proven otherwise. And when one of these coins shows up, the price explodes. Real auction results. Real credibility. Verified 1982 D copper pennies have sold for $10, $000, $18, $000, $25, $000, and higher, depending on condition. And experts believe that a top-grade example, fully red, razor-sharp, could one day cross into six-figure territory. That's not hype. That's supply and demand colliding. Now listen closely, because identification is everything. A normal 1982 D penny is zinc. It feels light, cheap, forgettable. But a copper example feels different in your hand. Heavier, solid, important. Here's the first test. Weight. A genuine copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A zinc penny weighs around 2.5 grams. That tiny difference, less than a gram, is the difference between pocket change and life-changing value. If your scale doesn't read to at least 2 decimal places, you're guessing. And guessing has cost people fortunes. Next, check the date. Then look below it, the D mint mark. That single letter is everything. No D. Still interesting, but not the jackpot. With the D, now you're in big money territory. Now let's reset again, because here's where people mess up. There are 7 different types of 1982 pennies. Large date, small date, copper, zinc, Philadelphia, Denver. It's confusing on purpose. And that confusion is exactly why these coins slip through unnoticed. Your coin must be 1982 D mint mark copper and properly struck. Now, look at the color. Copper pennies age naturally. Browns, reds, deep chocolate tones. Zinc pennies often show bubbling, peeling, or ugly gray corrosion under the copper plating. A real copper coin looks solid all the way through. Scratch tests? Never do them. Weight and professional verification are the only safe paths when big money is involved. Now here comes another shock, because this resets everything again. Even worn copper examples are valuable. This isn't about shine alone. Even a circulated 1982 D copper penny can sell for thousands. Condition multiplies value, but authenticity creates it. Now let's talk errors, because the 1982 D penny family is full of surprises. Some 1982 D pennies show off-center strikes, clip planchets, and broad strikes, often selling from $100 to $500. Interesting? Absolutely. Rare? Sometimes. But they are not the holy grail. The copper composition error is the monster. That's the one collectors dream about. And here's a chilling fact. Every confirmed 1982 D copper penny was found by someone who wasn't looking for big money. A roll hunter. A jar cleaner. A curious collector weighing coins just in case. No metal detector. No insider tip. Just curiosity. That's why this is hidden treasure. Let me tell you a real collector story. A man sorting rolls late at night noticed one 1982 D penny felt heavier. He almost ignored it. Almost. Instead, he weighed it. Then weighed it again. Sent it for testing. Months later, that coin sold for more than a brand new car. That's life-changing value from one penny. Now here's the warning. And this is critical. There are fakes. Copper-plated zinc pennies altered to fool people. That's why professional authentication is non-negotiable. A genuine coin certified by a top grading service is the only way to unlock real big money. No slap. No proof. No celebration. But here's the cliffhanger that should keep you awake tonight. Experts believe more 1982 D copper pennies are still out there, sitting unnoticed, misidentified, waiting. Every year, fewer are found. Every year, demand grows. Every year, prices climb. 1 penny, 0.1 scale, 0.1 moment of curiosity. If that's all it takes to uncover hidden treasure, oh, here's what you do. Right now, check your 1982 pennies, especially the ones with a D mint mark. Weigh them. Look at them closely. Don't assume anything, because the coin that could bring big money doesn't shout. It whispers. Stop. Right now. Before you scroll past this, what if I told you a single penny? Yes, one lonely penny. Could be worth big money. Not $50, not $500, but tens of thousands. Even life-changing value? And the terrifying part is this coin looks so normal that millions of people have already spent it. I'm talking about the 1982 D copper Lincoln penny. A mistake that should never have happened, but did. Here's the mystery point. 1982 was chaos at the US Mint. Copper prices were exploding. Pennies suddenly cost more to make than they were worth. So the Mint rushed through a historic change, switching pennies from solid copper to zinc coated with copper. Machines were adjusted. Metals were swapped. And in the middle of that rush, something went very, very wrong. Because at the Denver Mint, a few pennies were struck on pure copper planchets when they were not supposed to be. Those pennies escaped, and today, they are hidden treasure. Now reset your attention, because this is where your heart should start racing. An authentic 1982 D copper penny is one of the most controversial and hunted coins in modern U.S. numismatics. Why? Because officially, the Mint says no copper penny should exist with a D mint mark in 1982. Philadelphia? Yes. Denver? No. Yet collectors have proven otherwise. And when one of these coins shows up, the price explodes. Real auction results. Stop. Don't blink. Don't scroll. Because what I'm about to tell you could turn a single, ugly penny into big money. I'm talking about a coin millions of people have already spent without a second thought. A coin that should not exist the way it does, the 1983 D Lincoln penny. And if you have the right one, it could mean life-changing value. Here's the mystery that still shakes collectors. In 1982, the U.S. Mint officially changed pennies from mostly copper to zinc. By 1983, copper pennies were supposedly history. Gone. Finished. No more. But then, quietly, mysteriously, copper 1983 pennies started surfacing. And not just from Philadelphia, but from Denver. That's where the shock begins, because according to the Mint, number 1983 D copper pennies should exist at all. Yet they do. And that impossible mistake is what turns an ordinary-looking penny into hidden treasure. Now reset your attention, because this next part is where the heart starts racing. Only a handful of confirmed 1983 copper pennies are known today. Most experts believe they were struck accidentally on leftover copper planchets from 1982. A simple error, a massive consequence. And when one of these coins appears at auction, collectors don't hesitate. Real sales. Real money. Verified 1983 copper pennies have sold for over $20,000, $30,000, and in top-grade examples, even more. One confirmed specimen stunned the hobby when it crossed the $40,000 mark. For a penny. That's not a typo. That's big money. And here's the terrifying part. Many people still don't know what to look for. Let me slow this down and speak directly to you, because this could change everything. A normal 1983 penny is made of zinc with a thin copper coating. It feels light, cheap, forgettable. But a copper 1983 penny feels different. Heavier, solid, important. Weight is the first key. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A zinc penny weighs around 2.5 grams. That tiny difference, less than a gram, is the difference between pocket change and life-changing value. Now look at the date. Check for the D mint mark under the date. That D is critical. No D. Still interesting, but with the D, collectors pay very close attention. Next, color. Copper pennies age differently than zinc. A real copper example often shows deep brown, red-brown, or even red tones throughout. Zinc pennies often show bubbling, peeling, or gray corrosion under the copper plating. If your coin looks solid all the way through, that's a serious sign. Now reset again, because this is where many people get fooled. Do not rely on a magnet. Pennies aren't magnetic. Do not rely on sound alone. And never assume weight without a proper scale. Precision matters when big money is on the line. Now let's talk errors, because the 1983 penny has more surprises. Some 1983 pennies show off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and broad strikes, which can sell from $50 to $500, depending on how dramatic the error is. Interesting? Yes. Life-changing? Usually no. But the copper error? That's the king. That's the one collectors dream about. And here's another shock, because it resets everything you think you know. Every confirmed 1983 copper penny was found by someone who almost ignored it. A coin jar. A roll from the bank. A random check out of curiosity. Not a dealer. Not a millionaire. Just someone who looked twice. That's why this is hidden treasure. Now let me tell you a story that still circulates in collector circles. A man sorting pennies for fun noticed one 1983 penny felt wrong. Too heavy. Too solid. He didn't celebrate. He tested it. Weighed it. Sent it for authentication. Months later, that single coin sold for more than some people make in a year. That's life-changing value from one moment of curiosity. Now here's the warning, and listen carefully. There are altered coins out there. Copper-plated zinc pennies trying to fool people. That's why professional authentication is everything. A genuine example certified by a major grading service is what unlocks real big money. No certificate? No celebration. But here's the cliffhanger, and this is why you should be paying attention right now. Experts believe more 1983 copper pennies may still be out there. Misidentified, ignored, sitting in jars, drawers, and old collections. Every year, fewer remain undiscovered. Every year, prices rise. One coin, 0.1 scale, 0.1 careful look.